What's up, guys? Welcome back to Couch Collectibles. Today I got a guest with me on this video. He is the president of Noble Gold Investments, Colin Plume. So Colin, thank you for coming to the channel. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about why you should invest in gold and silver. So a lot of people have been messaging me about investing in gold. Obviously, a lot of people don't have the funds to purchase a $2 million rare gold coin. So they've been messaging me about how to go about that. So that's why I got with Noble Gold Investments, because they help you invest into precious metals. And we're going to talk more about their company here with Colin today. But we're also going to bring up this article here that we have from Fox News. Now, this Egyptian billionaire invests half of his wealth into gold. So basically what he's doing is investing half of his $5.7 billion net worth into gold. He goes on to state in the article, with all the crisis we are discussing now, gold will always remain a safe haven. So I thought it was interesting that this billionaire is investing half of his net worth into gold. So can you tell me a little bit, Colin, about why you think this guy would do that?
Yeah, Naguib Sawari is an Egyptian billionaire. He made his net worth investing. Interestingly enough, he was the first telecom operator in North Korea. So he took a big gamble, put a huge amount of his net worth in there, invested there, and created this massive fortune. He came out recently and says that he believes the economic situation in the world is in trouble. He thinks we're going to have problems in the Middle East. He also thinks the dollar is going to crash, which he's reported saying. And he thinks that gold is, in the next 12 to 18 months, is going to hit about $1,800 an ounce, which would be a pretty significant gain from where it is today. So, you know, you have this entrepreneur. He obviously loves risk. And now he's saying, I'm nervous about what's happening with our currency. And so he's looking to take some of that risk off the table, get into gold and get into something more secure. So I think the timing is there for something like this to happen. And I think that when you see people like this, they're so risk adverse, taking their money off the table and putting it into gold, something that you talk about all the time is, gold and physical metals. It obviously, you kind of take notice that there's things happening in the economy that we should be aware of. And
you guys also allow your customers to invest in silver as well, is that right?
Absolutely, yeah. So what we do, my background, I've been in physical investments for over 20 years. I was in commercial real estate for about 7 years. I helped investors buy apartment buildings and shopping centers. And I transitioned, I'd been buying metals, precious metals for a while personally, and I transitioned into precious metals. And so what we do, we're an investment firm. We help investors that want to put gold and silver into their IRA or old 401k. A lot of people aren't aware that since 1987 that gold and silver are an option that's eligible. See, a lot of people, Justin, think you can only put bonds or mutual funds or equities. They're not aware that they have these other options that are available to them. So what we do is we teach people that, yes, you can put physical gold and silver, bullion coins and bullion bars into their IRA. It's not a fund. It's not an ETF. So similar to people that watch your show that love collecting metals and holding some of those rare coins, this is another way for them to get into gold and silver safely. And hopefully, if the stock market has a major correction, gold and silver can help protect their portfolio. Most people that are doing this, they think of it as almost like insurance. So they're putting gold and silver in their IRA. We do all the paperwork for them. So if anybody has an IRA or an old 401k and they're concerned about the stock market, or they just don't think that they're not happy with the returns that they have, we can help them move into gold and silver within their retirement account.
Okay. And silver is at a crazy cheap price right now. It's at like a little over $16 an ounce. I remember back in 2011, I think it peaked around $54 an ounce. And we also got this article here that the New York Times put out. It's California is going to require solar power for new homes. And you may ask yourself, how in the world is this related to silver? And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so first thing, I was in commercial real estate. So I know that California really sets the bar for the country in terms of real estate law. Typically what California does, the rest of the country will follow suit. So they've come forward and said all new homes built 2020 on, they will require solar panels. So that includes, they say that there'll be about 130,000 new homes built Plus you're talking about another 20 to 30,000 apartment buildings or multifamily dwellings. So it's a lot of property that's going to be built. It's going to be a lot of solar panels. China has been doing this for many years. China has been buying silver mines for pretty steadily for the last 5 years, and the middle class in China has been putting solar panels on their homes for a long time to cut down their monthly expenses. In the short term, I think it's one of those things. It's an expense. Solar panels cost anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 on a single family home. So up front, that's a big cost. But in the long run, to be able to get your monthly electricity bills down, and I have friends that have solar panels. I haven't done it yet, but I want to. They've been able to get their energy costs down to next to nothing. I mean, we're talking like, $20, $30 a month. I think it's going to be a big opportunity, and I think that's where things are going. The reason that silver is important is that we're 2 years away from this law being enacted. Silver is used heavily in solar panels. So we believe that silver will continue to move up. It's at a very low point. You mentioned, in 2011, it was at, 50. Now we're at 16. So we think the physical industrial demand of silver is really going to pick up. So for investors that want to put that in their IRA right now and take advantage of that low price, I think it could be a huge windfall for somebody that's looking at, the future of this commodity.
So to kind of sum it up is, when these solar panels require a lot of silver and then the houses require the solar panels, that means that the demand for silver is going to be higher. Therefore, the value of silver is going to rise. Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah, and it has to. I mean, if you look at the mining costs, I know you talk about gold and silver, and you obviously watch the price of it every day. People have been buying silver, they've been continuing to buy it, but the price just really hasn't moved up yet. So I think when you see a demand like this, because once people put solar panels, they take silver out of the ground, they put it on the roof. That's it. It's in there. Once they put silver in their iPhones, they do recycle it to some extent. But a lot of these uses are just going to be put in places that no one's going to get access to. So are the silver miners going to be able to keep up with this crazy demand? And I don't think they're going to. And anytime you can get into a metal that's so undervalued, buying something, a lot of experts say that silver is below the cost to pull it out of the ground. Anytime you can get into an investment like that now, I think could be a great opportunity. And I wouldn't be surprised in the next 3 or 4 years if we see silver go way past, where it was in 2011 and go way past $50 an ounce.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about investing with your company, Noble Gold Investments, and how that kind of works? Do they actually get physical gold and silver, or how does that work?
Great question. Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So we only do physical metals. So we're not a fund. We're not an ETF. So anytime somebody buys from us, they're buying the physical metal. Sometimes people want it or they're going to have it in a depository. So we ship it to a private depository and it's stored in a segregated account. There's different ways you can store precious metals, but what we do is we ship it to a depository if the client wants. The depository takes a photo of the actual inventory. We send the client the photo, and then the metals are insured there in the depository, and they have that security. So if anything happens, they're protected. Or we can ship metals to somebody's doorstep. If somebody's calls in and they say, hey, I want to get some gold and silver to my doorstep, I want to get it in my hands, we can absolutely do that too. We do that all the time. We ship everything out in a nondescript package, so nobody will know what you're receiving. It could be like a basketball or a tennis racket. No one will know. So we do deliver to your doorstep. So for people that want to get in the physical, we really focus on bullion coins, bullion bars, things that are tradable, fungible, American Eagles, bars, Canadian Royal Canadian Mint coins, things like that. So anytime anybody wants to get something physical, we can help them get it to them. We ship quickly. It's also a two-way street with us. If they ever need to sell it, we'll buy it back. So absolutely, Justin, we can definitely ship metals to somebody's doorstep if they're interested.
That's great. So is there anything else you want to cover with the gold and silver? I was going to maybe talk about the Bitcoin for a minute.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Gold and silver, we have investment guides for gold and silver. We have IRA guides. So if anybody calls in, phone number is 877 646-5347. They can call anytime. Our phone lines are open 24 hours. If we're not available, they'll leave a message, and we can send them out any of these free investment guides for gold and silver. If they really want to learn about it, we really focus on education. A lot of people, it's their first time coming in, so we try to get them as much information as possible. So I definitely urge people to give us a call and get those free guides and talk to the representatives. In terms of, if you want to talk about Bitcoin, I'd be happy to talk about it. We basically do the same thing for IRAs. We can do it with cryptocurrencies. So you can put Bitcoin into your IRA. It's an eligible item in your retirement account. And so for investors that want to take advantage of the potential growth in Bitcoin, obviously we've seen it, go up and down, up and down. Last year, the chart is unbelievable. If you bought Bitcoin January of 2017 and you sold it at the peak of December of last year, $10,000 from January to December, $10,000 turned into $323,000. So that, that kind of growth, you're only going to get into an asset that's, I would say, a little bit has some risk behind it. So, with great risk, great reward. But if somebody's looking to put Bitcoin or Litecoin, Ethereum in their IRA, they can do it with us safely. It's an IRA approved product. We've gone through all the rules and regulations to make sure it's eligible, and it's a very easy process to do it with us.
Yeah, and if you guys want the free guide, it's absolutely free that Colin was just speaking about, click the links in the description of this video. I will also post those 2 articles if you guys want to dig deeper into those articles and look of why that guy invested half of his fortune into gold and also the silver on the solar panels. So all that information will be down in the description. If you guys want to go to their website, it's noblegoldinvestments.com. And also, I got another question for you, Colin. Could you explain why you personally think it would be a better investment for someone to invest in gold and silver as opposed to the stock market?
Yeah, I don't know if there's better or worse. I think that what you do is you look at the market and you say, okay, the Dow, the NASDAQ have never been higher. I mean, they're right now where we're sitting, the stock market's never been higher than where it is today. So I think that most people remember 2008. That was also an all-time high. And how did we get to that point? The way we got to that point is that after 9/11, the Fed cut interest rates to all-time lows. And so we went on that historic run in real estate, in the stock market, and really a lot of it was based on cheap money. This year alone, the Fed has already had to raise interest rates twice. They just came out today. We had the biggest bump in home mortgage prices, the cost to pull out a home mortgage. We had the biggest bump in 1 month than we've had in 50 years. It went up over 1 basis point in 1 month. So when you see interest rates moving up, just like they did in 2008, and you see the stock market at an all-time high, I just think that there's a bubble there that people aren't really talking about. So what we talk about really is diversification. It's not, dumping everything into one investment. My concern right now with people is that I think most people have almost all of their net worth or a majority in the stock market. And I just think that having some metals, having some diversification, having some Bitcoin, just so you're not all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, is what I would recommend. So it's not that I'm not a fan of the stock market. My wife has a 401k. We put money into that. But money that we have access to, because typically an employer 401k, you can't buy metals. Money that we have access to, we buy physical investments. We buy precious metals, we buy real estate, things that we understand, and we're diversified. And so that's really what we preach here at Noble Gold. That's what we talk about, and just making sure that you have different things out there, because that 2008 collapse was devastating. Most people lost 40% of their portfolio, and I don't think, if you're close to retirement right now, and if you see a 40% pullback in the next 6 to 12 months, a lot of people don't have enough working time to recover that. You and I we're younger, we're going to be hopefully working for a long time, but if you're right near retirement, you don't have the time to recover. You don't have the time to go up through the volatility of the market. So, in essence, what we talk about is just making sure that you don't have all your eggs in one basket.
Okay, Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching, Colin. Thank you for being on Couch Collectibles. And until tomorrow, I will see you all for another video. So, yeah, guys. So just click the links down in the description, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another video.